Is it recording?
This was fun.
Ah! Hey guys! My name is India, and I would like to talk to you about how I conquered my insecurities. For many years in my past, I had felt that nothing I ever said or did ever mattered and was worth nothing, because people would tell me that. And I can remember just sitting for hours just thinking about what they would say and letting it sit in and just believing everything they would say to me. And I remember it just tearing me down every day and just made me so weak that I would break down and cry almost every day after school. And I'd be so overcome with the stress of trying to suppress who I was to try to impress others. And honestly, the only thing that it did for me was just depress me even more, because in suppressing who I was, I told myself that I wasn't good enough to be shown to the world. And I honestly think that's probably the worst mistake I ever made in my life. And so when I was homeschooled, I thought that getting away from those people would make it easier. But honestly, when I was homeschooled, their words just stayed with me. And they would repeat in my head every day in the silence when I would be doing my schoolwork. And it just made me feel so depressed. And one day I remember coming across watching the Rob Ross and watching Infinite Waters and seeing how encouraging they were, and they talked about self-love, which is something that I had never really thought about or heard about. I didn't really know what it was. And it was really interesting to me because I spent so much time trying to get love and acceptance from others instead of trying to love and accept myself for who I am, the good and the bad. And watching them really inspired me, and the words "you are worthy" just was repeated in my head every day, and it helped cheer me up when I was depressed. And so my junior year of high school, I decided to join a PSO program, which is where high school students can take college courses when they're still in high school. And honestly, I was so afraid that I almost fainted in my first class. But before I even went into that building, I made a promise to myself that I would be fully myself, and I wouldn't be that quiet girl that I was before, and that I would accept myself and express myself. And I would go up to people and introduce myself and talk to people that maybe I felt I wasn't good enough to talk to. And it was so crazy because the thought of being denied just went away, because to my surprise, people were actually interested in what I had to say, and I was just shocked, and I was like, whoa, really? And it was just incredible, just listening to people and looking at people, just being interested in what I had to say, and it just kind of blew my mind. So every day it got easier and easier just to be myself and to accept myself and to walk into that building and not have to be afraid of being denied or anything. And it was really awesome. And I remember one day watching a video about the Rob Ross, wanting people to be Rob Ross ambassadors and stuff, and I was like, oh, that sounds really cool. And it was about, being fully raw emotionally and just being real with yourself and being real with others and expressing who you are, every part of who you are, the good and the bad, and accepting that as part of who you are. And I really wanted to be a part of it, but I didn't have the money at the time. And I was really sad about it, but I didn't want to stop there, so I just took the next best opportunity, which was my college essay writing class. And we were supposed to write a report and present it in front of the entire class, and I decided to make mine about insecurities and title it "What's Most Personal is Most Universal." And in doing that, I went up to different people of different ages and statuses, and I asked them if I could interview them about their insecurities to prove my point that what's most personal is most universally felt by everybody. And For one, I was completely surprised that no one denied me and said no. And I was also surprised about how open they were with me. And I had people come and talk to me about cutting, or how they'd been to prison, or how they had abusive childhoods, or just how they struggle with loneliness and acceptance. And just looking at these people, you would never know that they were going through something so terrible. And even though I'd never cut myself or been to prison or anything, I felt that I was looking in the mirror at myself, because I could see that just because we had different life paths, our emotions and our insecurities were just as equally felt. And it was just so overwhelming, just sharing that honesty and just sharing hugs and tears, and it was just incredible. And in my essay, I decided to put my quotes in there and put my insecurity in my essay. And everybody else's quotes were anonymous, but I made mine with my name right next to it. And I was so nervous. And as the day of the due date just kept creeping forward, I got nervous and I was having second thoughts. I was like, oh my gosh, are people even going to want to listen to me? But when I started reading it and presenting it, my hands were shaking as I was reading it. And I was more nervous reading other quotes than reading my own. Because when I read my own, I could feel the passion that I had when writing it and the courage that I had in writing it. And I got to see how far I came from just 7th grade to now, and how far I've come for just even having the courage to speak. And this is what I said. I was called ugly numerous times, told no one would ever love me, that I would never be worth anything, and so on. I would be teased for standing up for the oppressed. I was treated as one of them. People would literally push me around, steal my books, and even choke me once. I felt like I was nothing and of no importance. I can remember one day, someone who once was my friend told me, India, nothing you say ever matters, so just don't say anything at all. What killed me most was that I didn't know why I was treated this way. Was it my exotic mixture of different races? Was it my crooked smile? Was I truly ugly and worth nothing? I started to believe their lies. I came home crying every day. I only felt safe in isolation. I couldn't get hurt then. It got so bad that my mom had to take me out of school when I was in junior high. It saved me, because I could see myself drifting deeper and deeper into darkness from my loneliness, my hunger for love and acceptance. I was becoming a deeply sad person because I didn't see my purpose in life, and I hated it. Even 5 years after being taken away from those people, I felt like my tongue had been chopped off when I was around other people. I was afraid to speak. I just couldn't. I was afraid of their potentially hurtful reactions. I didn't want to get burned again. I guess you could say I was pretty paranoid. I didn't want to feel this way. I wanted to speak and know my worth without being judged. I wasn't able to truly be myself until right now, and it scares me. My heart is pounding, but I don't care. It means I'm alive. I'm experiencing what it's like to be human. And in my opinion, if you can't express yourself, you're either not living or you're not human at all. Of course you are human, but you're faking it. You're pretending to be something you're not, and that should deeply offend you. Why would you deny yourself? I can think back now and know that if I would have stayed in that environment, I might still be here, but I'd be a completely different person that is remotely opposite of my true self. I would be faking it. If I hadn't had that time alone, being homeschooled, I wouldn't have had the chance to find myself and accept myself for who I am. I am obsessed with nature, and I love dirt and plants and all that stuff. It is where I find peace, where I feel God. I like to talk in crazy, strange accents and dance and laugh and scream and run down the streets with my friends like a maniac. When I am truly myself, I can't keep a straight face, especially when taking pictures. I'm too crazy for that serious look. My true self is happy, the exact opposite of what those people made me feel. I had to realize on my own that I really am worthy of expressing myself, and to this day it is still sometimes a challenge. My words are worth saying, and I have something of value to offer this world. The scars are still slightly there, and I guess that's why I sometimes have trouble accepting any type of affection. Love, hugs, kisses, smiles, compliments, conversations even. I'm not used to them yet, and they come as a shock to me. I'm grateful, but I still feel slightly undeserving sometimes and wonder why someone would want to do that. Even though I've overcome a lot and found my voice, I still feel sometimes undeserving. And it hurts and makes me awkward sometimes. But I have God by my side to make me stronger, something I know I can put my faith in. I guess that's why I'm doing this, to break through my walls and show the world that I see even my darkest pain as beautiful and inspire others to look at their pain in a different way. To be fearlessly raw and open and show myself I have the strength to speak, that I don't need to rely on anyone else to prove my worth. A way to find a way to be grateful for my pain. It made me the strong person I am today. And I remember when I finished reading that, I saw people across the room with just their jaws dropped at how open and honest I was. It was just a crazy, awesome moment. And I remember my teacher saying to the class, asking them if anybody could relate to what I had just said. And I will never forget that moment. It was just so amazing. Every student in the entire room raised their hands saying they could relate to what I had just said. And I was so shocked. I remember just taking my paper and just covering my mouth because I was trying not to cry. And it was incredible. And at that moment, I realized that if you don't have any confidence in yourself, then you can't expect anyone else to have confidence in you. You need to have the confidence to be yourself and fully express your happiness equally with your sadness and your nervousness with your excitement and your depression with your thrills and just everything that you are, and your anger with your awesome excitement and happiness. Just express everything and fully be living and accept yourself and have those uncomfortable, fun, comfortable moments, because those might just be the most memorable moments that you have when you're truly yourself. That's what I learned from my experience, and I guess that's how what I went through became a blessing in disguise. I guess that's... Stop!
All right.